Against Razak Najib for the vacant English super bantamweight title.
Ossie Jervier!
Ossie Jervier definitely in the veteran stage of his career, but as I say, he's been in with some good fighters and given plenty a decent tussle. I remember seeing him get stopped in the sixth by Isaac Chamberlain back in 2017, that would have been, but at that point he was on a roll. He'd won a few in a row and wanted to get another victory if he could. Last boxed at York Hall a couple of weeks ago, over 4 rounds.
And his opponent from the proud boxing city of Hull, Sonny Taylor!
So here comes Sonny Taylor. As I said, he's a popular fighter around his home city of Hull, and in his corner he has got the legendary, I'll call him, in those parts, because he is Tommy Coyle, who was a fantastically entertaining fighter, and he knew how to pack him in as well. And good to see him around boxing, good to see him on fight nights.
Introducing the person in the blue corner, wearing black shorts, trimmed with white. He weighed in at 14 stone, 2 pounds, 2 ounces. His professional record boasts 6 wins from 31 contests. 5 of those wins coming by way of knockout. From London, Ossie Jervier! And his opponent across the ring in the red corner, wearing white shorts trimmed with grey and silver. He weighed in at 14 stone, 6 pounds, 2 ounces. He brings to the ring a perfect professional record of 7 wins from 7 contests. 4 of those wins coming by way of knockout. From Hull, East Yorkshire, Sonny Taylor! Your timekeeper at the bell is Chris Hancock of Doncaster. Your referee is Ron Kearney of Sunderland. Referee Ron Kearney will now give both boxers their final instructions.
Okay, lads, obey my commands at all times and protect yourself at all times. Keep your heads out and keep your punches up. Keep it clean. Touch gloves, come out boxing on the bell. Let's go.
This is a cruiserweight contest scheduled for 6 3-minute rounds.
So 6 at cruiser here. Sonny Taylor boxing out of the red corner. Ossie Jervier in the blue.
Sonny Taylor can punch. I've been at quite a few of Sonny's fights, and we saw Jamie Mellors early in the fight with that power we probably weren't expecting. It seemed effortless. Sonny's more of your traditional cruiserweight banger. You know, when he lands, it has an effect on people. He's got a couple of people out early, a couple of durable people out early. And he can be very exciting to watch.
He's done some good sparring as well, hasn't he, from what I hear. Likes of Jack Massey, Richard Riakpour, Craig Richards, Bob Adjasafe.
Dillian White, I think he spent some time with as well. Could be a real interesting partnership with Tommy Coyle, because the boxing scene in Hull, there's a beautiful arena there. We had one really good night where the next generation of Hull's fighters packed it out, but it's just died off a little bit. And I think it's just waiting for that next exciting fighter to really take it by the scruff of the neck. And if Tommy and Sonny can form a little bit of a partnership, he could be the man. He's got to be active though. He's got to get some momentum going in his career.
I did read that he was going to box at heavyweight, then realised that cruiserweight was the way forward. It's interesting when you look at him physically. He's quite boyish physique-wise, isn't he? There's definitely some strength that's going to come there.
There is. It just shows that power he does possess is natural. You know, you look at his build, he's very relaxed, isn't he? When he lands, he can take people out. But yeah, there's so much more maturity to come, isn't there? That body's going to change as he's training more regularly. I think that's just been Sonny's problem. I think he's drifted away from the gym or changed gyms and just stayed out of the ring a little bit too long. But if Sonny can be active, he could develop into a real one to watch at Cruiserweight, where you do get opportunities quickly.
Hasn't boxed for a year. It was last October in Hull. He stopped Christian Donfak Adjafak with a left to the body. Adjafak, another one of the Cameroonians, him and Bomo, Thomas Asomba, Abdon Caesar, all of those lads, they fled into the London night from the Olympic Village, and that's no exaggeration. That's exactly what happened after they had finished at the Olympics, sought asylum and got placed in various parts of the country, mainly in Yorkshire and the North East, and have made a massive contribution actually to the British boxing scene. Strong looking left hand, but taken mainly on the glove there from Jervier.
Cruiserweights have always been one of my favourite divisions, Andy. It's going back for years, you know. I love the days of Marco Hawk. I love people like Kudryashov, a Russian hammer, and that's before we even get back to fighters like Kwawi and Holyfield and stuff. Even Herbie Hyde's little brief run at Cruiserweight was mayhem. It's always been that unpredictable division where fights catch fire, you get tremendous slugfest, tremendously talented boxers like Usyk. It's always had something for everybody. I think it's been one of the most underrated divisions.
Well, you get a lot of fighters, don't you, who probably would look at it and just think, oh, God, I wish I was a bit bigger and then I could just be a heavyweight and not have to make weight. But they might try it at heavyweight and then just think, no, that's not going to work. And then they have to really train and make weight. I remember Kalle Sauerland saying that to me, that cruiserweights are heavyweights who train properly a lot of the time. And he's not far wrong, is he?
No, I've never heard it put like that, but yeah, it's exactly what it is, isn't it?
When you look at that World Boxing Super Series with Usyk and Gassiev and Breedis and Dorticos and Hook and all of those fellas, it was just an unbelievable knockout.
And it was a conveyor belt of good fights, the Afolabi and Hook trilogy, and it just never seemed to disappoint. The fights could be quick or the fights could be distance wars. It was so good to watch. And at the moment, we're going for a pretty strong spell in Britain for cruiserweights, aren't we? We've got some real talented fighters like Chris Billum-Smith, Coley, obviously, Isaac Chamberlain, Sonny Taylor. He's got to be in that next group of fighters coming up behind those. He's got to make sure that his name's mentioned, and to do that, he's got to be busy, he's got to be active.
The good thing about that crop of fighters you mentioned there too is that they've developed the habit of actually fighting each other.
Yes.
Billum-Smith and Tommy McCarthy, Billum-Smith and Riakporhe, Billum-Smith and Chamberlain. There's a common denominator there in Billum-Smith, but Riakporhe will gladly have it with anybody. And it's what you want.
It is, it's all too rare as well, isn't it? But look how much those guys have benefited. By the time they get to European fringe world and hopefully world title level, they're going to be battle hardened, aren't they? They'll know the pressure of a fight week where you could lose. It just has so many more benefits.
Jervier just opening out a little bit there, looking for the left hand. Taylor won't mind that.
Yeah, I think Jervier might have felt a right up to the body or something, and he retaliated, didn't he? As if he felt he had to keep Taylor off.
I think that's what happened there.
Nice jab, hasn't he, Jervier? Heavy, solid punch.
Got caught with the right hand there, Jervier, just as he set his feet and was looking to try and work the body a bit. 30 seconds left in round 2.
Just been a few more exchanges in this round, hasn't it? I think that's solely down to Jervier just opening up a little bit more and maybe seeing a couple of opportunities himself.
That was a nice one too from Taylor. Jervier again just looking for that combination, finishing on the left hand. It's interesting this. He's just got gradually more expansive as the round has gone on here, Jervier. As I said, he's one of these guys who started off in the home corner, won his first 3, I think. Then after that, he was match tough, but he was always still trying to win. It's been mostly defeats the last 15 fights or so, but he's operated at a good level. I don't think he's looking at Taylor and thinking that this is anything he hasn't seen before. You know, he's boxed Wadi Camacho, he's been in with Luke Watkins, he's been in with the aforementioned Chamberlain, Ellis Zorro a couple of times, Mikel Lawal.
Yeah, I think maybe he just took the first 3 minutes, he'll have looked, obviously he looked at Sonny's record and know that he has taken some people out early, but that he just seemed to gain some confidence, didn't he, in that second round, and just started taking a couple more risks himself. Be interesting to see how Taylor reacts. Taylor knows he carries, another cruiserweight famously said he carries power. He'll be more than willing to let his hands go himself. If Jervier just does keep this little bit of ambition he showed in the second and maybe builds on it, could get quite entertaining this in 3 and 4.
And as we were saying as well, I don't think Taylor will be unhappy with having somebody in front of him who's willing to do that. I don't think Tommy Coyle will be either, because it gives you opportunities. You've got to be careful. But Jervier opening out, showing some ambition himself. As you say, should make for a good fight here going through the remaining rounds.
Taylor looks to me like he's deliberately pacing himself. You know, he takes a step back every now and then, just has a little breath, and he looks like he's just deliberately just slowing the pace down. But if it's something Tommy's been working on to try and get away from a little bit of bombs away style we saw early on, and maybe it's been drilled into him.
That's a decent left hand to the body. But Jervier just comes straight back there, swinging as Taylor was backed up to the ropes.
I think it's going to be very difficult to make an impression on Ossie Jervier with single shots, isn't it? You're going to have to put something together. It's going to have to be more thought put into it from Taylor if he's going to make a serious impression on Ossie Jervier.
Stepped in nicely there and looked for the uppercut, found it too. Into good range and just dug his toes in. There's that left to the body again, and the left hand just caused Jervier to lose his balance slightly there. I thought his knees could have loosened a touch, but it was just a balance issue, I think, as the left landed. But he's looking for that left to the body. That's what he used against Christian Donfac, of course.
The left hook to the body does seem to be a trigger for Jervier to fire back, doesn't it? As soon as he feels that left hook and Taylor's left hand's down, Jervier is looking to explode and counter it.
He hasn't quite managed to find the route in round the back of the glove for that right hand yet, Taylor, but he's been looking for that as well. And it's a heavy shot. It's one of those heavy kind of sandbag type punches. You can see it move Jervier a little bit, even though he's half blocking it all the time. And this is just a great scene. We're basically halfway through the undercard here, and as you can see on your screens there, this place is pretty much full. plenty of people in the bar out the back there as well.
It's so much better to be in a tightly packed, full, small hall venue, isn't it, than an arena that have had to black curtain out and there's people scattered around. It creates such more of an intense atmosphere, doesn't it? It feels like a fight night rather than a spectacle.
Yeah, I completely agree. We've seen quite a lot of that over the course of the last year or so. Half-empty, bigger arenas. You always have to be optimistic about tickets, and the larger promoters will want to go to the larger arenas, and sometimes you're forced into it. You get above a certain level and you have to jump up to somewhere which is going to be too big, and then you see quite a lot of it veiled off. But you know, I packed out Doncaster Racecourse, I packed out York Hall. I was there for one of them with Denzel Bentley against Marcus Morrison. Absolutely terrific, great atmosphere. You probably do leave a few tickets on the table if you're the promoter. I'm sure Frank Warren and Queensberry probably did that night, but the atmosphere was great, and it's that kind of scenario we've got here tonight.
Do you think in modern boxing, Andy, there's a little bit of, what's the word? Probably ego attached to it, where they don't want to be seen to be going to a smaller venue?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Sometimes it would create such a better atmosphere, and you know what a boxing card's like. When the atmosphere picks up, the fight tends to follow it, doesn't it? And you get a real good card from start to finish. But yeah, sometimes I just wonder if it might be a little bit of appearances, not wanting to be appearing to put on a show at a small venue rather than an arena.
And it's great for TV as well, because the atmosphere is terrific, and that comes through your screen. Just short with a jab there, Taylor. There's that jab from Jervier. You mentioned it earlier on. It's difficult to read. He just plants it on you. Left to the body.
Yeah, it's not a snappy shot. It's a real heavy, like jolting jab when he lands it. Jervier doing all the forward pressing, isn't it now? Taylor's definitely resorted to moving away and looking to just plant his feet for little moments and let his hands go. The little right uppercut and left hook when he steps in is working quite nicely, isn't it? But he's definitely taken a lot of the weights off his shots.
Jervier just walking in with that guard, gets it up late there. Right hand got through from Taylor.
Right uppercut works again in close.
And there's that left to the body, followed by that right to the side of the head. He sets his feet well for that left hand. He's landed it nice and sharp a few times, but it hasn't really caused too much of a reaction from Jervier, not yet anyway. So 2 to go. They're scheduled for 6. So into the 5th. It'll be interesting to see what Taylor does in these final 2 rounds. I think you're right, John, when you said earlier on that he's just looking to pace this, and he's got 6 rounds to navigate through here. But I would like to see him just take the initiative a bit more.
Yeah, just force the pressure onto Jervier, see how he can cope with going backwards. I I think Jervier's probably had problems in the past when people have set a high pace and a high work rate and he's got to try and keep up with it. Maybe it's a little too late for Taylor to try doing that now. But as we said with Josh Hargreaves earlier, you don't want to be coasting in the final 2 rounds when you're a prospect, do you? You need to be finishing strong. It takes a nice right hand there from Jervier Taylor. Don't want to see him go into his shell, do we? We want to see him impose himself in the last couple of rounds. He should be able to do it, shouldn't he? It's not been a hot pace. He's not had to work hard. He's not been under pressure. He's pretty much dictated things. So if he wants to take it up, Sonny Taylor, that's what we really need to see now.
Jervier again, he comes in quite square and then just plants that left hand in. He's looking for the right hand over the top there, Taylor. Again, just finds the left into the body. But Jervier's more than happy to mix it up on the inside there. 1-2 from Taylor, crashes into the gloves, and again.
It was a nice left hook, wasn't it? The first time Jervier didn't try and retaliate from taking a left hook to the body. I just wonder if he just felt that one a little bit more.
So into the final minute of round 5. Jervier with a right to the head there himself, off the back of a little bit of body work. He's always got something to say. Just sets his feet and looks for the left hand there again, Jervier. Taylor with that right hook almost, and
I just think
that
that
time
the left
he
hooks,
almost did land it.
I think the left hooks might have started to just take a little bit of a toll on Jervier. I think he's taken 3 or 4 real solid ones, and Taylor just beginning to have a little bit more success. He's just stopped retaliating to them. That was his trigger almost in the first 3. Oh, that was low.
That was low.
Yeah.
That was really low.
Really low. And being the experienced campaigner he was, that was just getting a little bit tougher for Ossie Jervier there. He'll take as much time as he needs to... He'll take as much time as he needs to just gather himself and make sure he can see out the remaining round nice and safely.
So given due time to recover there, Jervier. Final 10 seconds of the round, and we've got one more to go after this, scheduled for 6.
Yeah, just came at the entirely wrong time for Sonny Taylor. Like, just for the first time, looked like he was making a little bit of an impression, and then the low blow just ground that momentum to a halt, didn't it? What do you think, Andy? First time you've seen Sonny Taylor live?
Yeah, he looks nice and organised, and as we've been saying, there is definitely more to come from him physically when you look at that frame. And Jervier's a decent fighter. We've outlined his credentials, and although he does generally lose on the road these days, he's not what you would describe as a typical out-and-out away corner fighter. He's always got something to say. When you get to him, he always wants to answer back. That's his reflex, as you rightly pointed out, when that left hand to the body has been landed. And Taylor, I think, has taken his time here. He's been quite methodical, and that left is beginning to just return some dividends. I think the plan here for him, really, from the trainer, from Tommy Coyle, was to get the 6 rounds under his belt. That is what it looks like, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you find that sweet shot and you knock somebody out, fantastic. But as the old adage goes, you should never go looking for it anyway, because it makes it less likely to happen. But I think they wanted 6 rounds here, and it's what they're going to get.
Yeah, he was crash bang bollock early in his career, and that's not going to work with these tough guys like a Billem Smith or a Chamberlain. You know, they'll soak that up, and when you're tired, they're going to take you out. So maybe Tommy's just drilling it into him. We've got to pace ourselves, we've got to choose our moments for attack, and it does look like that's what Sonny's been working on pretty much from the opening bell.
Just looking slightly weary there, Jervier, as he was looking pretty much straight at us over the shoulder of Taylor. A couple of minutes to go here. He's given good value here, though, Ossie Jervier. Always coming forward, tucking up behind that guard. Nice 1-2 there from Taylor, who maybe will just look to put his foot on the gas a bit towards the end.
Couple of little marks on Taylor as well. You know, he's not had it easy, has he? You know, although he's set the pace, you know, he's dictated pretty much what's happened. That jab from Jervier's been good, and when Taylor has landed something, Jervier's tried to respond, particularly in the first 3 or 4 rounds. Little marks under his eyes, you know, he knows he's been in a fight.
Right to the body, then looks for the uppercut there, Jervier, into the final minute. No, it's definitely been a worthwhile outing, this. He hasn't boxed for a good while. 1-2 has just wobbled Jervier slightly there, and as is his instinct, he just looks to fire back himself, but he just found the range nicely with that 1-2 there, Taylor, and again, looks to do exactly the same thing, and he's just crunching that one home. It's half blocked, but not completely.
He's really turning the knuckles down into that, wasn't he, Taylor? And to be fair, Andy, this is exactly what we said we wanted to see. We wanted to see him push the pace and finish strongly, didn't we? And to Sonny Taylor's credit, that's exactly what he's done. His final round of a fight's been his best.
Single shot with the right hand there. Jervier just blocking that one, saw it coming, but he's really set his feet for that 1-2 in this last minute or so, and he's kept it simple. He's stuck to the basics throughout the course of the 6 rounds, and I think they'll be happy with that, because I think that is what they wanted. 18 minutes at a decent enough pace. Dropped off a bit in the middle, but towards the end there, he did put his foot on the gas, put his foot down in the final round, and I think he's boxed almost entirely to instruction there from the corner. Would have told him I just wanted to let him off the leash a bit in that final round and see what happened.
Yeah, Tommy Coyle had a big smile on his face, so I think that's, from reading his body language, I think that's exactly what's happened. Sonny's probably not an easy guy to rein in. You know, he'll want to bang people out. That's what he was doing early in his career. So Tommy's probably very happy that Sonny listened. He followed it out to the T almost for 6 rounds. And we want to see excitement. We want to see knockouts and big punches, don't we? But it's in Sonny Taylor's career's best interest to try and think long term about this, and he'll benefit from that.
He scores the contest at 59 points to 55 points in favour of your winner from home, Sonny Taylor!
So still undefeated, Sonny Taylor. It'll be interesting to see what they do with him next, how they look to try and step him up in his next outing, which I'm sure they'll be looking to organise as soon as they can, because he was out of the ring before tonight for a good spell, for too long really.
For all boxing info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.